My mom's voice has a way of cutting through the air like a knife, even when she's trying to sound sweet. That night, the whole family was gathered round the dinner table for Emma's big celebration, her shiny new corporate job. Her dream come true, as Dad kept calling it. The dining room was glowing with candles, laughter bouncing off the walls, and I sat there with my hands folded in my lap, trying to be happy for her. I had just finished a brutal week at the hospital, 3 night shifts in a row, one of which ended with me doing chest compressions on a man who flatlined right in front of his wife. When he came back, against the odds, I thought for once I had something worth sharing, something that might make them look at me the way they looked at Emma. So I tried. I cleared my throat and said, I had a patient crash this week, but I managed to save him. He's alive today because of me. My voice was small, but hopeful. They barely looked up. Mom reached across me to refill Emma's wine glass, and Dad chuckled. That's nice. Maya, anyway, Emma, tell us again how your boss said you were the most promising hire in yours. And just like that, I disappeared. My story, my victory vanished under Emma's smile and the sound of clinking glasses. I sat there with my food growing cold, watching my parents beam like Emma had hung the moon. She tossed her hair back and launched into another story about her new office, her incredible team, her Emma's future. No one asked me about the man who was still breathing because of me. No one asked how many hours I'd been on my feet, or how much sleep I'd lost. The humiliation burned quietly in my chest. Not traumatic enough for anyone to notice, but sharp enough that I could feel tears prickling the back of my eyes. I swallowed hard, forcing a smile, pretending I wasn't hurt, pretending I wasn't invisible, because that's what I'd always been, the extra daughter, the one who worked nights to pay off student loans, the one who bailed them out with groceries when bills stacked to high, the one they leaned on quietly, without thanks. While Emma got the spotlight, I told myself to let it go, to not ruin her night, to be the good daughter they always expected me to be. So I sat back in silence, listening to them praise her, every word another reminder that in their eyes, I would never be enough. But deep down, something in me shifted that night. I didn't know it yet, but the seed of a storm had been planted. Dinner stretched like old gum, sweet for everyone but me. The candles sank, the wine flowed, and Mom's smile sharpened the way it does when she's about to slice someone and call it honesty. Emma bragged about her onboarding project. Dad clapped at every sentence. I reached for the salad, and Mom refreshed Emma's plate first, a tiny sting. Then she leaned back, cool as a winter window, and looked at me like a problem she never intended to solve. You'll never be as good as your sister, she said. Not a shout, a sentence delivered the way you flick lint off a sleeve, quick, tidy, practiced. The table went silent the way hospital rooms do after a flat line. Emma didn't protest. She smirked into her glass, eyes glittering with something like victory. My stomach dropped like an elevator missing its floor. The girl in me, the one who taped up honor roll certificates and learned to cook so dinner tasted like love, wanted to apologize. For what? I couldn't tell you. Existing, maybe. I swallowed water that tasted like metal and said nothing. That used to be my talent. Disappearing on cue. It kept the peace. It kept me from being labeled dramatic or ungrateful. But silence grips your throat from the inside. You can't breathe forever like that. Dad cleared his throat, ready to toast Emma again. Something in me resisted like a lock joint. I studied their faces, to parents who loved a pedestal more than a daughter, and a sister who had learned to live on it. The realization didn't come with fireworks. It just clicked. They weren't forgetful. They were cruel. I folded my napkin and set it beside my untouched plate. My hands were steady. That surprised me. Inside, a quiet math started. What it costs to stay. What it takes to leave. I heard Jennifer's voice from work, firm and kind, naming a thing as the first cut through fog. So I named it. In my head, favoritism, neglect, humiliation. And beneath those words, something new, resolve, not loud, not flashy, just a pilot light catching. I didn't argue. I didn't beg. I let "you'll never be as good" hang over us like smoke and decided that one day I'd open a window so wide it would pull the whole house clean. On my break, I scrolled Instagram and froze. My parents in Lays on a boat, Emma captioned, finally decompressing. There was a blank space where a fourth person could have stood. Me. I called from the supply closet. Hawaii, without asking me. We didn't think you could come, Mom said. Bored, Emma needed to decompress. Something didn't shatter. It settled. This wasn't forgetfulness. This was exclusion. A week later, helping with their bills, I saw it. Emma's student loan paid in full, $45,000. In the mortgage folder set transfers from my account labeled temporary help. I added $200, $600, $1,250 a month. Emma had to move closer to work. The total, $47,000. My money, their house. Emma's slate wiped clean. At work, Jennifer didn't flinch. This is financial abuse. The word cleared the fog. I opened a new bank account, redirected my paycheck, stopped covering their mortgage. I printed statements and screenshots and tucked them in a blue folder with tabs. Then I let myself breathe. They invited me to dinner, expecting me to fix everything. Like always, same candles, same line. Mom began. You'll never be as good as. Then ask her to pay your bills, I said. Level. Silence hit like a dropped plate. I opened the folder. Here are the transfers from me to you. The loan statements paid while I carried mine. The total is $47,000. You didn't forget me, you used me. Dad blinked. Emma went red. That's not fair, she said. I'm family. So am I said, and slid my house key across the table. I'm done financing my own erasure. 1 month later, I signed a lease to cities away and accepted a nurse practitioner job, $120,000. Day shifts. The first night I slept 12 hours. My phone buzzed with apologies and accusations. I turned it face down. When Emma called sobbing about foreclosure and the broken engagement, I listened. I'm sorry. I told her, I hope you get help. It can't be me. Morning light moved across my own wall. The old sentence, you'll never be as good as your sister, lifted like steam. I am not a comparison. I'm a person. And I was finally visible to the one person who mattered, me.